Greetings, I'm Nick for Candida Hub, and in this video we'll be talking about honey and using it to treat a yeast infection. Honey has been used medicinally for a very long time. The ancient Sumerian civilization employed honey to treat a wide variety of health maladies and problems. And the Egyptians used honey and garlic mixed together to treat cavities. So there's quite a history of using honey medicinally. One thing that makes honey so powerful against microbes like Candida is its high osmolarity. Now, what does that mean? Well, osmolarity is a term used to define the ratio of solvent to solute. So if you have sugar, that's your solute, and you pour it in water, the water is the solvent, and so osmolarity of that solution depends on how much sugar you pour into the water. And honey has a lot of sugar compared to the amount of water in it. And that is the principal reason it can be used to treat a yeast infection topically, not eating it. Don't try to eat honey. The topical application of honey allows that osmolarity to go to work against Candida and other pathogens. You can even use honey on a burn to keep the microbes like bacteria from overgrowing. Osmolarity aside, honey also has a low pH. The pH of honey is about 3.9 on the pH scale. Now, the higher you go, the more alkaline you get, and the lower you go, the more acidic you get on the pH scale. Water has a pH of about 7, and lemon juice has a pH of about 2. So, to put this theory to the test that the sugar in honey is really the reason why it works to treat Candida, there is a study published that used artificial honey along with other types of honey against various species of Candida. The study was published in 2006 in the journal Medical Mycology. The study employed many species of Candida. Among them were Candida albicans and Candida glabrata. In all, 38 different strains of Candida were used in the study. Of the varying types of honey used, honey called Jara honey was the best. It had a minimum inhibitory concentration. That means the lowest amount that will stop the growth of Candida of about 18.5% weight to volume ratio. Artificial honey was almost as good as other types of honey used in the study. Its MIC was about 42% weight to volume ratio. So that goes to show you, since artificial honey is about as good as other natural honeys, it can also be used, and you can probably save some money by using it, to treat a yeast infection when it's used topically. The study concluded by stating 100% honey is more than enough to inhibit the growth of yeast organisms. So yes, you could use this vaginally to treat a yeast infection, and it will work really well. But remember, different types of honey seem to work better at treating yeast infections. The primary reason for this is the different chemicals that get put into the honey as the bees gather various nectars from plants. The specific species of plants the bees get their nectar from will inevitably have an effect on what type of plant chemicals or phytochemicals are present in your honey. A 2009 study published in Medical Mycology also states that the phenols and other phytochemicals in honey are responsible for its biological activity against various microorganisms. The study looked at many different types of honey and their effects on several different strains of Candida. Species of Candida that were used in the study included albicans, glabrata, and cruzi. The study found that all the honeys it used successfully inhibited the growth of all the Candida strains that were tested by the researchers. The worst performing honey was orange honey, and that study cited research that stated orange honey typically contains a very low amount of phenols and relevant phytochemicals that can stop Candida. The study found that the best honey for treating yeast infections was multifloral honey. The plants that were used to generate this honey were thyme, astragalus, and brassica. Now, the reason why multifloral honey performed better than the other honeys in the study is perhaps because of the thyme plants. Thyme, as shown by studies done on its essential oil, has a very strong anti-Candida activity. So, if you get honey made from thyme, it likely will have an increased effectiveness at treating a yeast infection. So, what about hydrogen peroxide producing honeys? Are they better for a yeast infection? In fact, they are not. Hydrogen peroxide is not able to kill Candida albicans. In fact, hydrogen peroxide will increase the growth of Candida albicans. So you may have heard a lot about hydrogen peroxide honeys and their efficacy as a Candida fighting natural remedy, but that's just not the case. A 1991 study published in the Journal of Clinical Microbiology found that Candida albicans actually grew better in the presence of hydrogen peroxide. But, as you may know, all honey produces a little bit of hydrogen peroxide when it comes into contact with various body fluids. The overall effect of honey will be sufficient to inhibit it, even if a small amount of hydrogen peroxide is generated. It's nothing to really worry about. So, you've got your honey, but it's not multifloral honey from thyme plants, and you're wondering if it's the best type of honey to use. Well, if you have some essential oils, you can add those phytochemicals into the honey by simply adding a few drops of various essential oils, like thyme oil, clove oil, cinnamon oil, whatever you want. Candida Hub also has a section on essential oils that can show you the various ones that are proven to inhibit and kill Candida. So it is true, honey will make an effective yeast infection treatment. Just don't eat it. When you eat the honey, it gets diluted by the digestive fluids and other liquids you drank and loses its osmolarity. So there's way more liquid to sugar ratio, and it actually becomes a food for Candida. Yeast eats sugar. So don't use it internally. Don't think you can eat honey and it will treat a digestive system yeast infection. That's not true. You can use it on your skin, in the vagina, on the penis, wherever you're having the yeast problem outside your body. It makes a great treatment, especially when you add in some antifungal herbs or essential oils to the mix. Well, for more information, check out the article about honey and Candida on Candida Hub. If you're there already, just keep reading below for more information. There's a lot of great resources and links to the studies that talk about this issue. And you can also learn about a natural solution for yeast infections that works very fast, it's very safe, can have you healed in about 12 hours. So, thanks, and I'll see you later.